Yes, you are tuned in to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9 WYAB. And we are streaming on Rumble. And we are streaming on X. And we are streaming on YouTube. And we are streaming at WYAB.com. So if you can't pick up the signal, you can always pick us up on the stream, and we appreciate that. If you wouldn't mind, please give me a follow at Andrew Gosser or Andrew Gosser on X, AndrewGasser. And the phone number today is 601 879 0002. And the text line is open. And I appreciate some of the texts that came in. Some of them, video clips, couldn't chop them up to get them ready to go, but I do appreciate them. 601 879 5060. Today is Friday, the 9th of January, 2025. And we thought 2020 or 2026, I should say. And we thought 2025 was crazy. 2026 is like, we're just getting started. Mission here at the Andrew Gosser Show is to equip the saints. Who are the saints? You are the saints. And I'm just trying to continue to encourage everyone and build each other up as we start going into these really they're going to be dark times. I mean, it really is. Our country is clearly divided, and we've got some things that I want to kind of take a different tact than most other people do. I see things a little bit differently. And we're going to start, though. We've got to talk about Ole Miss. They were robbed. I'm not, as many of you know, I'm not a big college football person. I do, if I had to pick a team, it would be Oklahoma. But Ole Miss, that last play should have been a pass interference, in my opinion. And I'm not just saying that to try to score points with all you Ole Miss fans. Everybody knows I'm a state guy if I had to pick one. But I think there was a really big deal there. We are in the middle of a psyop. We are being gaslit by the mainstream media, even though the video out there shows the complete story of the lady that was shot by the ICE officer. Mainstream media just continues to pound the drum, and they continue to shape the narrative. You know, back in the day, the media was just telling the story. They weren't giving opinion, but now we've gone to an opinion-based journalism model that here in America isn't really giving us the news. You know what it's doing? It's angering you. It's angering me. It's angering the people on the left. It's angering the people on the right. It's angering the Christians. It's angering the Muslims. It's angering the Jewish. It's angering whoever else. And the only people who aren't really upset about it are the people who aren't paying attention until it's too late. And I fear that's where we're heading. I got this text this morning from Patricia Williams, the Carver County GOP chairwoman who we had on the show. This happened not too far from where she was at. And in fact, she knows some of the people who were involved in the incident in Minnesota, and they've been doxxed. And she is, we had to have a really hard conversation this morning because she fears for her children's life, just like many of us would fear for our children's life, right? Especially you put yourself out there, whether you're a political official, whether you're a public servant, whether that be fire department, law enforcement, or whether you're just a private citizen and you want to try to make this place a better place. The political left has been weaponized in such a way that we're really starting to re-examine ourselves. If you haven't noticed, if you remember the Chaz zone in Seattle, the no-go zone, well, they're building one of those in Minneapolis right now. And they are actively going after those of us who are on the right, who are just documenting it. Nick Sorter was accosted yesterday, called 911, and 911 wouldn't do anything for him. And this is where it gets really scary for me personally as a former military dude. I sit there and I look, and the right is depending upon the police to do their job, to go out and do the things that need to be done to protect the citizenry, to protect our way of life. It's a set of morals that the right genuinely believes in more than the left. And I can actually understand and appreciate those of you who on the left who have had been done wrong. I get that, and no system is perfect. We agree with that. No human designed system is perfect. There's going to be flaws there. But when you have the political right, depending on the police to keep the peace, and they're not, they're allowing these protests to gin up and boil up, then that's when things are gonna get scary, and that's why, you know, Richard, brother, that's why I've always kinda said I don't ever even wanna contemplate or think about violence because it's not the right way to do it, and while the political left looks like they have a lot of support, especially if you look on the mainstream media reports, you look at, my news feed is just inundated with pictures of Minneapolis, and I couldn't help but think that, Minneapolis looks a lot like Iran right now. It does. It looks like a third world country, except they're not trying to install, or remove an Islamic regime. They're trying to install their beliefs, and that's not what the United States was built upon. The right to peacefully assemble, the right to peacefully protest. That's not what's happening in Minnesota and other cities around the United States of America. They're genuinely hoping that this turns into another summer of love, and I would say that is the one thing that is kind of keeping the protests simmer down right now, is that it is just so bitterly cold up in Minnesota right now. It is having a quote unquote cooling effect on the protesters. But what I wanna try to explain to people is that these protests that are being funded by billionaires, leftists, communists, that's not the only part of the problem. I've got so many clips that I just look at things differently, like I said, and I'm interested to see what you think about this. So we can all agree that the mainstream media is screwed up. Nick Shirley broke them. And if you haven't watched Nick Shirley on the Sean Ryan podcast, you probably should. Definitely wait till there's a break in the local talent here, like Clay often says. But I want you to listen to this 1 minute and 16 seconds of sound because I want to start putting the spokes in the wheel of how America is being attacked. And this is just the first spoke that maybe many of you did not even realize.
At this grocery store, it's actually not just like a normal grocery store. There's actually a bunch of other stores inside.
Oop, didn't come through the audio quite right. Let me make sure that I get this right set up here.
Side of the grocery store. So right here you have one side. At this grocery store, it's actually not just like a normal grocery store. A bunch of other stores inside of the grocery store. So right here you have one store. Right here you have another store. And then right here you have another store. Then up here you have another store. In total,
and ladies and gentlemen, what this is like a 800 square foot shop with 6 stores in it.
inside of this section of the grocery store, there are 6 separate stores. How's life here as a Somalian?
Life is good. I do phone bills, sending money to Africa. That's where I do. The business is good.
And how have you seen the rise of Somalians and the rise of Islam here inside of Minnesota?
As well, the rise is good and we have a place to pray, and life is good.
How long have you lived here in America for?
For 10 years now.
So this guy's been in America for 10 years, and we're going to get to the important part here in a minute. But he's openly admitting that he's taking money out of the economy of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Minnesota, the United States, and he's sending it back to Somalia. And he's been doing this for 10 years. If this so reminds me of my time overseas and especially in Afghanistan and looking at these shops where they're just small, they're dusty, they're dirty, and it's definitely a cultural hub. You can hear the people laughing in the background. You can see that this is a place where people gather from that community, but it's their design. It's really like a front. It's nothing more than a front. But listen to this. This is where it gets really good, and this is what I really want to focus on.
And when you came here, did the government bring you here, or did you come here by your own choice?
I came here by my own choice. I was one of the refugees from Uganda. I was brought by UN.
You were brought by the UN to come into the United States?
Yes.
The United Nations brought him into the United States. Not the State Department, not by the Secretary of the State, not by invitation of the president. The United Nations. We're gonna get to more of that in a second, but I wanna finish this clip.
And life is good, you know. We try to enter into businesses, we intermingle, and we do what is required.
We do what is required. When he says he does what is required, he's not saying by what the IRS says or what the law says or what Minnesota says. He's doing what's required by the neighborhood that he's involved with. Andy, how can you say that? I can tell you that because he's doing very well for himself, and the smile on his face. He's doing what is required, sending those remittances back to Somalia. And I don't know if he's doing that over the internet or whether he's part of this whole scandal that's taking all this cash and flying it out of the United States into Dubai, United Arab Emirates. But it's the UN who's doing this. That's like one of the attacks, right? 5th generation warfare. And I trust this audience is intelligent enough to follow this train of thought. I'm not sure that many people on CNN, Fox, MSNBC/MS Always/BS Always. It might be one of you'll never see it there. You'll never see it on the cable news networks or the traditional media, but you're gonna see it here. The United States cannot be attacked militarily. You can't do it. You're gonna lose. We just proved that in Venezuela. And you can go watch some of the podcasts of some of the former military dudes talking about stuff in generalities. Some of them screw up and get pretty specific, and I hope they repent for what they did. I never wanna be one of those guys who talks about how this military operation's going, and I get into all the beeps and squeaks, even though I truly do enjoy that. It's a passion. But you cannot attack the United States militarily. You have to attack us culturally. You have to attack us economically. You have to attack us from the inside. And that is what is happening. And the first spoke that we just talked about was the United Nations. I wanna know how many of the Somalis and other immigrants who don't agree with the United States' policies have been pushed into the United States via the United Nations. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
Roofstains.com today. Getting a new prescription filled in your eyeglasses may not get rid of your headaches. It may not be the prescription at all. If your eyeglasses are not custom fit and properly adjusted to you, that could be the source of your headaches. At Eye Gear Optical, we verify the prescription in your lenses and the custom fitting of your frames to ensure you have the most comfortable and visually accurate eyeglasses every time. We fit eyeglasses to you. your lifestyle, and your budget. Eye Gear Optical, 2630 Highway 80 East in Pearl, and eyegearoptical.com.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
You can show your pride and patriotism in honor of the 250th birthday of this great nation by proudly flying a flag. And a complete flag source on I-55 in Jackson is the place to find it. All sizes for all purposes. And they have the official 250-year celebration flag. Have a look at CompleteFlags.com. That's CompleteFlags.com.
So when are you going to check that thing off your to-do list?
Right, that. I don't know. How about next week?
How about now?
Or I could do it later, right?
No more putting it off. Do it now so you don't forget. You want this and have for a while.
You're right. I want this.
You deserve this, and it can help you in the long run. There, I just logged on to homescc.edu. We're getting you registered right now.
Wait. Hold up. I thought you had to show up on site to register at Homes.
You can do either one. You know that career you talk about all the time? The life you dream about? It starts today. How does that famous quote go?
Don't. Please don't.
The secret to getting ahead is
Getting started.
Spring classes start January 12th, and there's no classes on Fridays. Register at a campus near you Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 3:30, or right now at homecc.edu. And remember, your tuition could be free with a 20 on your ACT.
Holmes Community College.
No place like Homes. This copy machine has me so frustrated. I could just body slam it.
Whoa there, leave the body slamming to the pros. And leave superior high-quality office tech to the experts at Advantage Business Systems, brother.
Woo! Get it!
Never body slam your copy machine again. Visit absms.com. Advantage Business Systems, laying the smackdown on bad tech.
Venable Glass is your local glass expert, offering residential, automotive, and commercial glass. Venable Glass can do it all. What sets Venable Glass apart from the rest? Unmatched reliability and customer service. Don't forget, tell your insurance company that you want to use Venable Glass. And remember, you do have a choice. Let Venable Glass work hard to earn your business. Call Venable's Ridgeland or Brandon locations today for a free estimate or visit venableglass.com.
Oh, yeah. We are back here at the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Look, in the next hour, we're going to have our second Founding Fathers Friday segment. We're going to have a live in-studio guest to talk about it. This person is related to that founding father, and it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic works out. So we talked about the United Nations. Oh, and an unknown texter came in and said that the land that the United Nations was built upon was originally a slaughterhouse. Fitting. And I did not know that, but that's just another interesting tidbit. So you have it's not a government, but it's a organization that is bringing people into the United States illegally. Let's talk about other countries that are trying to attack the United States other than in a military sense. You've got to talk about China. You've got to talk about Iran. You've got to talk about Cuba, and you've got to talk Russia. Well, how could they do that? How could they do that? I can tell you how it is. It's called the country of Venezuela. We know now it is not even doubtable that Iran had Hamas operating in Venezuela. Iran was using Venezuela to clean Iranian oil so it could be sold on the open market. We also know that this oil was being sold well below market prices. China was then buying that oil well below market prices. Russia, even though they have an enormous oil supply, is using that to go ahead and clean oil and get oil on the cheap. And you would say, why would Russia want to buy oil when they have all the oil themselves? Well, they don't want to burn through their whole reserves when you can go get somebody else's. They're saying that Saudi Arabia and Iran will be out of oil within 60 to 70 years. Will we have different technology by then? You would hope so. But is it likely? Probably not. We're all stuck inside this oil economy. And look, I'm grateful for it. Oil makes the United States economy run. But at some point, we have to upgrade, much like the steam engine going to the diesel engine. This is nothing new. We're always growing. So you've got the United Nations. You have countries who are openly hostile to us, and yet we trade with them, specifically the Chinese. They don't like us. They want to see America collapse. My friend Colonel Manis just told me this: Chinese national charged with unlawfully photographing Air Force Base and vital military equipment. There are over 10,000 Chinese military-aged men illegally in our country right now doing espionage actions. They've come over the border. They are flooding the zone. And I'm not saying that they're gonna take up arms and just start skirmishes around the country. That won't happen. If something like that happened, I think the American people would unite really quickly. But we're gonna get to that part here in a little bit. You've got the country of Venezuela going ahead and being the springboard into the Western Hemisphere next to the United States, going ahead and supplying Cuba with oil, keeping that country afloat. I mean, what does Cuba really have to offer other than cigars? They r they don't really have any big exports, they don't have any natural resources. They have a labor force, but they can't build anything because they're not taking in anything. Literally, it's the country of Venezuela supplying them their oil that is making them allowed to survive and function. And now that President Trump is putting that blockade, I'm still in complete fascination, the fact that we have a carrier strike group in in the Caribbean, in the Gulf of America, patrolling, along with many active duty warships. Normally, when we would go on deployment, we'd steam across the Atlantic. Was an East Coast sailor before I became an Air Force officer. We would steam across the Atlantic, hit the Med, do a little bit, go down through the Straits of, go through uh, the Gulf there, and head around into the Indian Sea, go into the Arabian coast there, and just conduct business. Now these people are spending months away from their home at a time in our own hemisphere. That is a huge shift in policy, in American policy. We used to fight the wars overseas so that it wouldn't come here. And it took time for our military opponents to figure out, how do we attack the United States? Flood South America, have it move into Central America. You look at Mexico now. They're a hotbed of cartel activity, all being funded by the Russians and the Chinese. And again, it's not attacking the United States, so the American people are like, "Hey, we're fine, we're good. We can still go to our McDonald's and get a 9.89 value meal if that's what you wanna get." You can still go to the Kroger and the grocery shelves are just completely stocked full of groceries. You can go to the Walmart. If I go on eBay, I can get something within 3 or 4 days. If I go on Amazon Prime, it's next day delivery. We've got the internet. We've got it so good here in the United States. And yet, we have a segment of our population who I is ill. They genuinely have been beat down and programmed into such a and there's no other way to say it other than they're programmed. They genuinely can't think for themselves. They chant. I mean, if you've watched any of the videos from 2020 and then you splice in the videos from 2026 in Minneapolis. It's the same stuff. It's this tribalism that's going on. So they're attacking us by bringing in fentanyl into the country, cocaine into the country. Not so much marijuana anymore. That we've kind of done ourselves. When we grew up, we were told that marijuana was bad for you. And I'm not saying that there aren't good things that happen to people who use it, and if you do, that's fine, that's you. I respect it, but there are a lot of people using it who think they need it, but they don't. Just like the pharmaceutical companies think, but they don't. You have to have that pill. Do you, or do you just need to go for a walk and touch grass more often? Instead of sitting there playing Fortnite for 4 hours a day after working, maybe if you were outside exercising, as my mother would like to say, you'd be in a better place. So that's another spoke in the wheel. You've got organizations like the United Nations, NATO, the European Union going at it. Then you have specific countries that are trying to shift how Americans think and act, whether that be the Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians, the Somalians. And we're just getting started. We still have to go about the terrorist organizations that are being used as proxies. They're here in the United States. And meanwhile, Mr. and Mrs. American who live in suburbia who don't really have to acknowledge any of this, that they don't have to really pay any attention to this, they think everything is fine right now. Literally, Rome is burning, and we can't see it. But we still haven't talked about their best play that they're gonna use. You are listening to The Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
Owned and operated. For residential and commercial service or installation, contact Cerami Air Conditioning and Heating, 601-317-0729, or make an appointment through their Facebook page.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our sweet the swamp pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a Sweet the Swamp Pizza Bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
What are people saying about Tom's Fried Pies in Richland?
Tom's Fried Pies. And I made the mistake. I ordered one pie. I figured, you know what, I'll try Tex-Mex. It was so good. Man, second go round, I ate the pecan pie. You will need a meat pie and a dessert one. Get both because they are off the hook.
I went to Tom's Fried Pies today, and I'm going back. I tried the taco one, really good. When I go back, I'll bring some home.
Tom'sFriedPies.com.
Looking for the sweetest spot in Mississippi? Well, bring the whole family to Mississippi Candy Company. From gummies and nostalgic candies to rich chocolate and creamy Hershey's ice cream, there's a treat for everyone at Mississippi Candy Company. Enjoy freshly made, flavor-packed popcorn, even tasty lunch specials featuring their signature smash burger. Folks, they're to die for. Grandparents, bring your grandkids in today to Mississippi Candy Company, where every visit is a delight. Located 102 D's Drive, Gluckstadt, and also find them on Facebook.
And we are back here at the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Hopefully everybody's paying attention to the weather today. They say that some of the bad weather's moved through. Last time I checked, they said that there might be some thunderstorms coming tonight too. And those late night in the dark thunderstorms that can potentially turn into tornadoes, they're never fun. So hopefully you've got a weather radar or a weather radio, and you've got your phone turned on with alerts. Not that it's going to be anything to like really panic over, but be weather aware, not weather afraid. When we were talking, in the last segment, we were talking about the countries themselves, not necessarily the UN, but the country itself. But they've also come after us culturally. In these plans that they've done culturally to us, didn't start in just 5 or 10 years ago. It's been a long time coming. And sadly, the best way to put this is culture rot. And I'm not talking about white culture, black culture, Indian culture. I'm talking about American culture. When we grew up, the 4th of July was always red, white, and blue. America, apple pie, and mom. It's not like that anymore. Our academia have continuously attacked traditional American values, the nuclear family. Dare I say the church? I was reading something the other day where this pastor's kid who had grown up spent a year and a half in a public university and completely walked away from his faith. It's heartbreaking. These are the same institutions that made America great. When you think about World War I, World War II, the 50s and 60s, yeah, there were problems, but we continued to work on it. But you really seen the breakdown of the nuclear family. And I can point to and we've talked about it, the disproportionate divorce rate in the black community compared to the white community, the disproportionate amount of two-parent families in the black community compared to the white community. Well, I'm here to tell you, they didn't attack the white community like they attacked the black community. They purposely kept us divided. And that's how they used to go after the black community. What they did with the white community is the LGBTQ movement. And it is completely torn apart, not only the white community, but it's torn apart families, where all of a sudden, one day, mom and dad are happily living together, and the next day dad's out and mom too is in. And we're told that we're supposed to be tolerant and respectful. And the thing about it is no one's was sitting there worrying about bullying anybody. No one was sitting there going out there running around actively murdering the LGBTQ community. We have seen where the LGBTQ community has gone after Christians specifically in Christian schools. We had the example of Minnesota, Tennessee, Charlie Kirk, goes on and on. But this wokeness is absolutely infiltrated us. And listen to this woman. This is coming from Brecca Stroll on X, BRECCASTOLL. And listen to this. This is a real interview here. This is real journalism, not the stuff you're going to see on CBS or NBC, but just woman on the street.
So I mean, I'm just walking around kind of just dazed-eyed because I was like, I don't know if it's the right thing to do. It feels kind of wrong being here in some way. I don't know why.
And why do you think? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, like, where that stems from. Like, I mean, part of it is being like a white woman that.
Part of it's like being a white woman. We have completely got all of these problems focused on the things that are not the problem.
I'm privileged and I have a lot of privilege. So I feel like white tears are not always something that's helpful or necessary when Black and brown people have been experiencing this for a long time. This isn't new for them. And so I don't know if that makes any sense in that way.
How did you decide that you should be here? Or are you still figuring that out?
Well, I work like 2 miles from here. So driving by, it was like, I'm here.
And that's the interview. There is so much to unpack here. This woman is riddled with guilt. Where did that guilt come from? Is guilt something you're born with? Or is it something that's taught? She is worried about privilege. Well, it's not even necessarily white privilege. It's American privilege. Whether we like it or not, we are the best thing running in the world today. You can come here and make something of yourself. We want you to do that legally. But this right here, this is coming from academia. That's another spoke. This woke mind virus is another spoke. Our social media. I'm telling you what, Australia banned social media for kids 16 and under. And everybody's flipping out over that. I think you're actually going to see Australia start to unprogram itself over the long haul. Or maybe once the programming is set in, it's done. But you can literally sit on X or Instagram or Facebook, and whatever side you're on. If you're on the right side, that's great. If you're on the left side, that's great too. You can find supporting evidence for your belief. Whether you're right or wrong, that's a whole nother issue. Just like we had retired FBI field agent Chris Hinkle on the program yesterday, completely breaking down the shooting of that woman. How it was completely justified. The video clearly shows it from multiple angles. And now you have a whole narrative on the political left that is complaining about how this was unfair. You have political leaders. That's another spoke. These leftist community leaders, like the mayor of Minneapolis, who is completely throwing gasoline on a burning fire. You're sitting there looking at the American way of life, a culture that we believed in. You have young kids today who don't realize how good they have it. They just think that they live in a racist, oppressive society that denigrates women and lesbians and homosexuals and transgender people. White people hate everybody. Everybody should hate the white people. Everybody should hate the Jews. Even though they say that they're not anti-Semitic, you look at the Semitic attacks in America today, they're up. Look at Columbia University, for crying out loud. And again, that's just another spoke. There's this entire wheel, no matter, it's always spinning. And for good people like you, I know the blue collar crew is out there working today. You're just doing your 9 to 5. It's more like a 6:30 to 6:30 job, but you're just doing your 9 to 5, trying to raise a family, have a happy life, get a home, make sure your kids go to school, get a decent education. You don't necessarily have time to worry about all this other craziness. And that's exactly the plan to take down the United States of America. China can have all the gee whiz military gadgets they want. They can steal all of the technology that we have. They're not going to be able to do it because they just don't train like we train. As good as the military equipment that we have, it is the people who make it so good. And I know many of us military veterans can say, you know what, the best people I ever worked with were the people when I was serving in the military. Of course, you always have the bitter clinger who had a bad experience, and that does happen. I'm not saying that it doesn't. But we used to have those kinds of things going on outside the military too. And we don't. So many of us complain about our coworkers anymore. I don't. I'm grateful and thankful for Chip. I'm grateful and thankful for Clay and for Lindsay and for Sean and for Kim and for Matt, Miss Danielle. I'm thankful for everybody. This is a great place to work. But how many of us go to work in a job that we really don't like or really don't want to do because we can't find what we do want to do? Look at how we've talked about how they've split the communities apart, whether it be white versus black. I'm just using that as an example. But look at how they've divided us among generations as well. You've got the boomers and the Xers complaining about the millennials and the Zoomers, or some variation of that in between. Do you see it yet? How they're continuing to divide us and separate us and turn us into something that we shouldn't be? It's terrible. And I don't see anybody talking about that, which makes me think that I'm over the target. Because everybody can go up there and we can go watch all of the Nick Shirley videos, the Nick Sordor videos, the Brecca Stoll videos. You can go find whatever you want. And that's where they want us focused. What they don't want us focused on is our close nuclear families. They don't want us focusing on our country, the patriotic side of it. You know, taxes are going to start coming due here pretty soon. People are going to start complaining about that, which we should. But the division that they're planning on is only going to grow worse. And for me, I have to sit back and think about it. And I'm just telling you, I pray about it because it's really easy for me to go on the human side of it and just say, let's go kick these doors down and break some skulls. That's the easy way to do it. Thanks, SK. I see that. That's why I do try to reach out beyond what the political class, the people who are engineering all this from the inside. We have to build streams. We have to build networks. We have to build ways for us to reach out to our neighbors and start becoming local communities again. Not the black community or the white community How about the community in my neighborhood, on my street? Before I got sick, I would go around and visit people all the time. Now that's a little bit more of a challenge for me. But I wanted to spend the first hour talking about that. And the next hour, it's going to be a lot better, I pray. We're going to have Founding Fathers Friday. And this guy, you want to talk about courage under fire. You're going to hear about it next on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB.
$250 rebate on a new roofing system for all active military, veterans, and retirees. Online at eliteroofer.com.
It can be hard to move past the guilt, times of weakness, and regret, knowing you weren't there for your family when they needed you the most. But there is life after addiction. We're seeing broken families restored, one man at a time, through our vehicle, cash, and thrift store donations. It's given Mercy House Adult and Teen Challenge the ability to help these men succeed in having better lives. Donate a vehicle, running or not, and we'll come pick it up. Call today, 601-572-7296, or visit us at vehicledonationsms.com.
A new year means a new you with a new ride from Mazda of Jackson with our extended super sale. Chart your new course in a 2025 CX-5 before they're gone. Price to move with 0.9% financing for 72 months with approved credit. And see why it's the compact crossover that's built for you. Plus, get 1 year maintenance included on your new vehicle purchase. It's time to make the resolution to choose Mazda today. Shop online at MazdaJackson.com or visit Mazda Jackson on I-55 Frontage Road.
This is Doug with Magnolia Safety Group. Imagine a workplace where every employee feels safe and empowered. At Magnolia Safety Group, we make that vision a reality. From OSHA compliance to customized training, hazard assessments, and safety audits. We deliver tailored solutions that protect your people and boost productivity. Don't just meet safety standards, exceed them. Partner with Magnolia Safety Group and build a safer future one workplace at a time. Call us today to get started or check out our website at magnoliasafetygroup.com.
Huddle up, wing lovers, and double your count for less on Wing Tuesdays at Buffalo Wild Wings. When you buy one order of traditional wings, get one for 50% off. No time to dine? Order for delivery and wing it up with a crew at home. Or pick up takeout when you're on the go. Limit one per order, not valid with any other offers. Additional terms and conditions apply. Huddle up for Wing Tuesday at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind with friends and family? El Patrio Mexican Restaurant is calling your name. With locations in Flowood and Cross Gates, Brandon, El Patrio is the cozy, family-owned gym where great food meets great times. Enjoy El Patrio's signature margaritas and happy hour specials that keep their customers coming back for more. Indulge in their authentic Mexican dishes prepared with love and served in a warm, family-friendly atmosphere. Come to El Patrio and taste the traditions. El Patrio, where family, flavor, and fun come together.
Looking for adventure, amazing food, and a little relaxation all in one place? You'll find it at Cypress Point Resort in Brandon. Load up the family and experience a real drive-through safari, petting zoo, and thrilling guided Jeep tours. Then slow it down with mouth-watering steaks at the steakhouse or grab drinks and live music at the tavern. Planning a wedding or reunion? Cypress Point Resort has beautiful venues and cozy lodging. Ready for your big day or just a weekend escape? It's everything you love about the outdoors with a touch of luxury. Cypress Point Resort. Wild fun right around the corner.
This is Jack Hoffman. For nearly 31 years, Tico's Steakhouse has been a staple of fine dining in Jackson, Mississippi. Dad has long since desired for me to come work alongside him. And now that I'm here, I would like to invite you to come experience our family tradition of our hospitality, sizzling steaks, and healthy poured beverages. Our dining rooms are open and we are taking reservations. Our private rooms are also available along with takeout. Call today or stop in and experience Tico's in the second generation.
Tico's Steakhouse, East County Line Road in Ridgeland, 601-956-1030.
Oh yeah. Final segment of the first hour. It goes by too quick. I didn't even get a chance to talk about another spoke in the wheel, the pharmaceutical spoke. How many of your friends are on some type of oral antidepressant? How many of your friends are on some type of oral type of drug or intravenous? We all see fentanyl cities in Philadelphia and San Francisco. Those are the two big ones. I'm sure there's others all around the United States. But everybody's got a disability. Everybody's got an excuse. And we're just becoming softer and softer and softer. We didn't even talk about the food supply. You know, I was reading last night doing show prep, something like 72% of American food consumed is processed. If you go back 30 years ago, it was less than 30%. Well, does that have some type of change on the physiology of the American citizen? Where before it was like 88% of American citizens could be eligible to participate in the military, and now we're sitting at something crazy like 21%. Again, this isn't the way to attack America through military operations. It's got to be a different way. My mother used to tell me that Nikita Khrushchev said, just give Americans time. They'll go ahead and destroy themselves. And maybe that's been what the Chinese plan has been all along. I mean, you think about how long the Chinese dynasty has been around. They're patient. They understand it. Politics is the long game. You have to play it. And even if you don't want to play it, you're still in the game. There are no substitute bench. You're on the field to play. It's time for America to wake up and start taking accountability for our own actions and start becoming responsible again. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9. In the next hour, it's going to be a Founding Fathers Friday. It's going to be a good one. And then we're going to talk about some of the other stuff that's going on, some of the positive stuff. There's good news out there. It's just sometimes you got to just lead with what is in the hopper, you know? We'll be right back, everybody. Take care. Be blessed.
WYAB, Pocahontas, Jackson.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Steve Kathan. Makeshift barricades have been removed at the scene in Minneapolis near where an ICE agent shot and killed a woman. City officials want in on the investigation.
The Justice Department has blocked the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension from joining the probe into the shooting death of Renee Good. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry.
If you got nothing to hide from, then don't hide from it. Include local experts in the process.
Fry is also upset the Trump administration has suggested his city is dangerous. He says there have only been 2 shootings in 2025.
50% of the shootings that have happened thus far in Minneapolis this year have been ICE.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Well, CBS's Gwen Baumgardner is in Portland, Oregon, where 2 people were shot by federal agents.
The Department of Homeland Security said the shooting happened Thursday during a traffic stop targeting a vehicle whose driver and passenger have alleged ties to a notorious Venezuelan gang. DHS says the driver weaponized the vehicle and tried to run over agents, and that the officer who fired the gun feared for his life. The FBI's Portland office says it is, quote, investigating an assault on federal officers.
Luigi Mangioni's attorneys are in court today to try to stop the government from seeking the death penalty against him in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Trial lawyer Richard Schoenstein is following the case.
If they can get the stalking charges dropped or establish that the stalking charges are not a predicate for the death penalty, then the defense can get the death penalty removed as a possible punishment in this case.
The U.S. military says forces boarded an oil tanker in the Caribbean early today. CBS's Natalie Brand.
This operation on targeting sanctioned Venezuelan oil continues. This, of course, started well before Maduro's capture, but now we've seen 5 vessels seized after the latest action reported by U.S. Southern Command today.
President Trump said today he called off a second wave of attacks on Venezuela after securing cooperation with new leaders, which began releasing prisoners. Correspondent Jim Crisula's got more on legal action against a major retailer and top soda company.
Walmart and PepsiCo have been accused in a federal lawsuit of a decade-long price-fixing scheme that allegedly involved raising the price of Pepsi products at stores other than Walmart. The proposed class action lawsuit says the two companies have had a long-term agreement that gives Walmart preferential pricing on Pepsi products.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is up 270 points. The S&P is up 43. NASDAQ is up 182. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsor.
Drill, baby, drill. If you're an SEC accredited investor looking for one of the most powerful tax advantages available in 2026, now is the time to take a serious look at Encore Energy. Under current federal guidelines, accredited investors may be able to deduct up to 100% of their investment in 2026. And for many investors, that level of tax relief is simply too valuable to ignore. Encore Energy offers operator direct participation in U.S. horizontal oil drilling in areas with a long record of success, including more than 100 producing wells already drilled. These are established fields with existing infrastructure and proven and ongoing production potential. For investors with 100K seeking aggressive tax strategy, portfolio diversification, and a way to participate directly in American energy development, call Encore Energy to get details now. These programs involve significant risk and aren't suitable for everyone. Call 1-800-544-1221. That's 1-800-544-1221. Again, 1-800-544-1221. Encore Energy, where smart investors act before the window closes. Encore Energy at 1-800-544-1221.
Local news and weather brought to you by Mississippi Energy Services. We're your fast, affordable, and friendly generator service company. msenergy.us. msenergy.us.
Rain, lightning, tornadoes could be one of those days. A flood watch is in effect, says Mike Edmonston, forecaster with the National Weather Service, who says heavy rain is one of the main threats from the system moving through today.
Where 2 to 4 inches of rain in less than 3 hours are becoming possible, with localized amounts of 3 to 6.
The timing for possible strong to severe storms
is during Friday afternoon and Friday night.
Edmonston says some storms could last into the overnight hours. You can expect a 90% chance for rain and storms with a high at 74 today. Tonight, that chance for storms remains the same with a low at 59. Rain moves out after Saturday morning with a high at 68, 51, and partly sunny Sunday. You've got news on 103.9 WIAB. I'm Chris Davis. XAI, Elon Musk's outfit, says they are moving even more of their business into DeSoto County, and the governor announced Thursday that the $20 billion that they are spending makes it the largest economic investment in state history, and that comes with benefits for everybody.
The tax revenue generated here as a result of this record-breaking investment will help support vital programs and services like infrastructure.
A strong odor of weed came from the truck when a deputy in Jones County pulled over 41-year-old Adrian Spates' apprentice. While the deputy was halfway in the truck, the sheriff's department says Spates hit the gas and dragged the deputy, then led cops on a chase through Hattiesburg and into Collins, and eventually was forced off the road and down a hill where he wrecked. The deputy was hurt, but is expected to be okay. You probably heard about the big fight that happened Saturday at North Park Mall. Now the mall management and police have met and discussed a new safety plan, but they haven't discussed that publicly yet. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WIAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the individual views and opinions of the people.
And welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show. It is a Founding Fathers Friday here at 103.9 WYAB, and it is Friday, the 9th of January, 2026. We are streaming on X. We are streaming on Rumble. We are streaming on YouTube and at WYAB.com. If you can't find us on the radio dial for some reason, not getting the signal, check out the stream. We appreciate it. The phone number today, if you want to call into the show, but not during the first segment, it's our Founding Fathers Friday segment, is 601-879-0002. And the text line is 601-879-5060. Mission here at the Andrew Gosser Show is standard. We're here to equip the saints. Who are the saints? Y'all are the saints. And therefore, I'm going to continue to encourage you to encourage one another and build one another up, just as you're already doing. You know, we all have our friend groups, our groups where we get to hang out and fellowship with each other. We enjoy that. But we have other stuff we have to do too. And one of the things that has really been a huge blessing in my life is that both the Navy and the Air Force gave me the ability to teach and to talk and to publicly speak. And I'm truly grateful for that. And as my daughter is going through her junior year of high school and they're working on their U.S. history, I was just starting to ask questions about the Founding Fathers, and she really didn't have answers for some of them. And everybody knows Thomas Jefferson, and, you know, everybody knows John Hancock, everybody knows John Adams, but they don't know some of the less well talked about Founding Fathers. And it's a shame to me. But what was the bigger shame to me was when Rebecca Cheney put me through a class called Biblical Citizenship, and I got to get a little taste of what our Founding Fathers were actually going through. So this is just an overview of one of the Founding Fathers. And for the second Founding Fathers Friday, we're going to be talking about Mr. Thomas Nelson Jr. You all know him. You love him. You want to talk about an American who had grit, who had determination, who was truly fearless, who would literally sacrifice his life, his fortune, and his sacred honor. He gave it all for this country. And we're going to go through his life a little bit. And we've got some really interesting points to talk about. He was born in 1738. And he was born in the Commonwealth of Virginia. In fact, he was born on December 26th in Yorktown, Virginia. He was the eldest of 5 sons, and in the beginning, he was an immigrant. He was born to an English immigrant here in the United States. Very privileged upbringing. And what you're going to find out with a lot of these Founding Fathers is that some of them were dirt poor, some of them were middle class, and some were really privileged. And I'm going to say this guy had a very privileged upbringing. His family did all sorts of work, raised with a wealthy mercantile and planting household tied to Virginia's first families through marriages and lineage. And I'm getting this all from, I'm either pulling this from the whitehouse.gov, PragerU, and also there's a Virginia Historical Society where I could line up 2 or 3 more sources. I went with that. If it's something that seems a little bit off to me, I'll definitely let you know that too. But he grew up amid the family's extensive land holdings and businesses, which relied on working. And to be fair to my Black community, I promised you when I was talking about this, I would say if this guy was a slave owner or not. And this guy is a slave owner. Early education in Virginia, followed by England. So when Thomas was growing up, there were no formal schools in the United States of America. If you wanted to go get educated, you had to go back to England to go ahead and do that. But he did have education in America. It was just homeschooling. He ended up going to Newcomb School of Eton before entering Christ College at Cambridge University in 1758 and graduated in 1760. So he got there and he went to England to get his formal education, and that's where he really learned about business and his appreciation for law. And on his trip back to America, he was supposed to get back in 1760, but it actually took him a whole extra year to do that. When he did finally get back, that's when he just started to get involved in the family mercantile and plantation business, setting the stage for his early run into political life. And this is where it's really going to get insane. He was originally in the colony legislature in an early revolutionary involvement, elected to the Virginia House of Burgesses. So that's something that I don't know if many people know. The Commonwealth of Virginia doesn't have a House of Representatives. It has a House of Burgesses. And it's different political setup, a different government structure. It's kind of like how Louisiana has parishes. It doesn't have counties. And he here's the crazy thing. He was elected to the Virginia House of Burgesses while he was still returning from England in 1761. He wasn't even in the States yet. He just said he was gonna run, and they had him on the ballot. Not like it is today, huh? He served multiple terms representing York County until the body was dissolved by the royal governor, Lord Dunmore, in 1774. And this is where the tensions start to rise between the British and the Americans at this point. He participated in the Virginia provincial conventions, working closely with Patrick Henry, and in 1776 introduced the resolution urging Virginia delegates in Congress to push for national independence. He was like the spearhead behind this. And the other part about this that was really not talked about a lot, it was talked about in his personal page, but he put so much of his own family's fortune into this. Service to the Continental Congress and signing the Declaration, he was elected as a delegate in the Second Continental Congress in 1775, replacing Patrick Henry, who then went on to become governor, and served from 1775 to 1777. And he carried Virginia's independence resolution to Philadelphia, which was supported by everybody. And on August 2nd, 1776, he voted or signed the Declaration of Independence as one of Virginia's representatives. Post-declaration, he ended up starting to have health issues. He served multiple terms in the House of Delegates, starting in 1777, and ultimately ended up becoming a militia brigadier general during the British invasions. And this is where I want you to understand just the kind of courage this guy had. Everybody knows about the Boston Tea Party, but did you know there was a Yorktown Tea Party? Led by Thomas Nelson Jr., when a British ship pulled into port, he led a group of patriots and into the Yorktown port and boarded a British ship. He actually directed the boarding. And he ended up dumping all the tea that was being imported from England into the bay. Now, it wasn't as much tea as it was in Boston. In fact, it was only 2 half crates full. But it was still symbolic in that he led everybody to go ahead and do that. And we never heard about it. Everybody just hears about the Boston Tea Party and all the craziness there. We never learned about what's going on in these other states and these leaders out there. He personally was the one who actually directed and was hands-on in the role in dumping the tea over the side. And the British, from all the accounts I could read, were absolutely in shock when this happened. And what this did was it ended up starting a new blockade where people weren't buying British anymore. The British were bringing all their stuff, and they just weren't buying it. But there is one more incident that I need to tell you about Thomas Nelson Jr. Did you realize that while serving as the brigadier general for the militia, he turned the militia's own cannons on his own house? His house had been commandeered by the British as a command post. And this guy said, blow up my house. As Virginia's governor and brigadier, and he was, by the way, not only was he the brigadier general of the Virginia militia, he was also the governor at the time. As Virginia's governor and brigadier general commanding the state's militia, about 1/3 of American forces in Yorktown, Nelson participated in the joint siege led by George Washington and Marquis de Lafayette under attacking the British forces under Lord Cornwallis, while he occupied Yorktown in Thomas Nelson Jr.'s own house. And this is what makes American founding fathers so great. It's a legacy of self-sacrifice, service, and excellence. When the American and French artillerymen hesitated to target the prominent house out of respect for Nelson, or perhaps because of the initial bombardments spared it, he reported, urged, and ordered. And there are some reports saying that he actually fired the first shot at his house, or if he directed it, but he gave the order to do that. And you can go visit his house today. And there are purported 6 cannonballs either in the house or impacts where they were. And to be fair, again, full context for my listeners, 2 of those cannonball impacts have been cosmetically preserved because the damage would have caused the rot and everything. And so they've preserved it. But the cannonballs are still there. The houses are still there. The house is still there. And ultimately, Cornwallis came out and ended up surrendering. And that is the story of Thomas Nelson Jr. But there is one more part to this story that I want to talk about. And this is something that you have to really dig and scratch and search for. And that's his faith. After the war, he became very sick. During the war, he took out a $2 million loan against his own plantation and his own house to pay the soldiers and to buy ammunition in stores and supplies for the Revolutionary Army. $2 million. He never paid it back. The nation, you would think, would have paid him back for all his self-sacrifice, but they didn't. But this is the key part that I want to continue to drive home on the Andrew Gosser Show as long as I'm here. And this is the part that they don't want you to understand. They don't want you to know. His faith was strong. They called him a devout Christian who went to Grace Episcopal Church, along with his family. He was a lay leader responsible for church administration and community spiritual life. He is buried in the churchyard there. For the longest time, he didn't even have a gravestone because they were afraid that they would come back and try to take his body and make the family go back to pay the $2 million. There are all sorts of articles and stories of Thomas Nelson Jr. with his faith. I'm not going to go through that. But it is said that his actions in church involvement and eulogies portray a man whose life was guided by Christian principles. And I know that there are many of you who are not Christian, but you still follow Christian principles. And I realize there's a difference there. But it just seems that out of our founding fathers, we're going to find out that almost all of them were either Christian or they followed Christian principles, especially those known as quote-unquote deists, Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. And that's why I wanted to share the story of Thomas Nelson Jr. Spearheaded the Yorktown Tea Party, ordered the bombardment of his own house when the British took it over as a command post in Yorktown. He ended up dying at the age of 50 from either pneumonia or asthma, something along those lines. They're not exactly sure what, but he died a young man. And I know that there's so many of us out there who didn't actually get to know about Thomas Nelson Jr. but you do now. We're going to take our commercial break, and when we get back, we're going to have our special guest in the studio talking about their personal recollection as they are a direct descendant of Thomas Nelson Jr. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
.1039 WYAB.
Your roof is constantly exposed to the elements, battling dirt, algae, and stains. But with Watkins Construction and Roofing Roof Wash Service, you can keep it looking like new. A proprietary rooficide treatment is EPA approved, safe, and guaranteed to prevent algae from coming back for at least 2 years. No harsh chemicals, no damage, no black streaks. Just a clean, beautiful roof that lasts. Call Watkins Construction and Roofing at 601-966-8233 or visit nomoreroofstains.com today.
Getting a new prescription filled in your eyeglasses may not get rid of your headaches. It may not be the prescription at all. If your eyeglasses are not custom fit and properly adjusted to you, that could be the source of your headaches. At Eye Gear Optical, we verify the prescription in your lenses and the custom fitting of your frames to ensure you have the most comfortable and visually accurate eyeglasses every time. We fit eyeglasses to you, your lifestyle, and your budget. Eye Gear Optical, 2630 Highway 80 East in Pearl and eyegearoptical.com.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
You can show your pride and patriotism in honor of the 250th birthday of this great nation by proudly flying a flag. And a complete flag source on I-55 in Jackson is the place to find it. All sizes for all purposes. And they have the official 250-year celebration flag. Have a look at CompleteFlags.com. That's CompleteFlags.com.
Doctor, AC doctor, what's your diagnosis? My whole house was hot as a fever. Now my house is frozen, cause my air conditioning's on. Doctor, my AC's broken. Doctor, the AC doctor, heal my house, bless my soul.
The AC Doctors is your one-stop provider for air conditioning and heating installation, service, and repair. Contact us for money-saving repairs and lower energy bills.
Doctor, the AC doctor, heal my house, bless my soul.
Google the AC Doctors and get some relief today. TheACDR.com.
Pure Air Consultants offers services on your heating and cooling system. It's time to get your heating system serviced. We offer replacement, service, maintenance agreements. It's important because if you have a gas heating system, it can produce carbon monoxide. So you want to make sure you have your system serviced and cleaned to protect your family. You want to make sure your system is safe to run. You can find us at our website at mypureairconsultants.com, mypureairconsultants.com.
Hey guys, this is Casey Ellis with Ellis Autoplex, located on Highway 471 in Brandon. Ellis Autoplex, known as Little Truck City, is your old school mom and pop style dealership that's family owned and operated. We specialize in 4-wheel drive trucks, but don't worry, we have cars and SUVs too. Looking to sell your vehicle? Bring it by Ellis Autoplex, where we pay fair market value and we cut you a check on the spot. Need your vehicle service or repaired? We can handle that too. Shop us online or set your appointment at ellisautoplex.com. That's ellisautoplex.com.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show. Our special guest, who is related to Thomas Nelson Jr., is in the studio.
Yeah.
You know her. You love her. She is the host of the Lindsay Beckham Show. Miss Lindsay, how you doing?
Thomas Nelson Jr. is in the studio. You know her.
There we go.
I'm good. Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here too, Miss Lindsay. The weather is crazy out
It
there.
is crazy, and the
There we go.
schools are dismissing early, which threw me off today for
Yep.
me getting here late, but I made it finally.
Yep. And
crazy. And
it's absolutely fascinating to hear some of the stories. You want to talk about your mother's maiden name and then some of the cool stories about Thomas Nelson Jr. to just kind of really drive home the importance of this man.
Yes, absolutely. So I was just telling you, in the commercial break that I did not know that he was basically my great times 9 grandfather. And I found this out about 5 years ago. I had seen a post that a cousin of my grandfather made on Facebook. And so I called my mom and I said, Mom, did you know this? And she said, oh, I think I had heard something about that. And I said, Mom, that's a huge deal. This man signed the Declaration of Independence and he's my grandfather and you did not tell me this. So I don't think she still understands how wild that is. You know, I've talked with some of the women in the Daughters of the Republic, and there's not very many direct descendants left, but you know, my mom was a Nelson. Her maiden name was Nelson. So I'm the first generation that doesn't have the name. So it's just, I feel like it's so special. My kids love it. They have a copy of the Declaration of Independence, and they point his name out to anybody who will listen. So it's pretty fascinating, his life. He actually married a cousin of Thomas Jefferson. So I like to say Thomas Jefferson's my cousin too.
Wow, that's some serious lineage right there. And it's so interesting to me to see. Everybody knows Thomas Jefferson. They know John Hancock
right there.
But these founding fathers were so special.
Interesting to me to see.
And you were talking about
Thomas
we
Jefferson.
talked about it a little bit, the attack, but you have your recollection of that too, right?
Were so
yes, and so everybody was saying, no, we would never hurt your own building or hurt your own home. But those cannonball marks they're still there. They're still there. And so I talked to the people who run the Nelson home, because you can go to Virginia and see it, and they are just so kind. They said they would shut everything down one day and let me and my kids come in and just look at everything and kind of just be able to take it all in without it being open to the public. And so I can't wait to be able to do that. It's going to be incredibly special.
My kid, my oldest son,
to the public,
Andrew,
and so I can't wait to be able to do that.
Historian buff, and he was born and raised in the Commonwealth, at least for a little bit. He went back and forth, the military moves
historian buff.
Yeah,
he was born and raised
historian
in the Commonwealth,
buff,
at least for a
this
little
was
bit.
one of the places
He
he
went
really enjoyed that
the military moves us around.
And I never really understood this. And then I had really good
historian
friend,
buff, and this was
back
one
in
of the
Illinois.
places he really enjoyed.
He would always
to
use
talk
this
about.
guy, and I could never remember Thomas Nelson Jr.'s name. And then I was doing this research, and I'm like, oh man, this is the guy that my friend Paul Sawaka was talking about.
I could never remember Thomas Nelson Jr.'s
really
name.
puts
And
it
then I was doing this
into
research,
life
I'm like,
into
oh man,
focus
this is the
what's
guy
going
that
on
my
right
friend
now
Paul
in the
Sawaka was
United
talking
States.
about.
Are you willing to turn
really
the cannons
puts it
on your
into
own
light
house,
and
right?
And like
what's
views?
going on right
I mean,
now
these
in
are
the United
profiles in
States.
courage. And
Are you willing
the
to
more
turn
that we
the
learn
cannons on
about
your
these
own
founding
house,
fathers,
right?
and
like
specifically,
views,
I always
these are
I'll talk
profiles
about
in
all the
courage,
war
and
stuff and the
more that we
politics stuff. I
learn
enjoy that.
about
It's
these
great and
founding
very
fathers,
important to me.
and specifically,
his
I
faith
I'll
was
talk
so
about all the war
strong.
stuff and the
They still have his
stuff. I
Bible,
enjoy
his
that.
wife's
It's great and
Bible,
very important to
and
me. But
I would love to sit down there and just be able
was
to read
so
that and compare
strong.
that to what we
They
actually
still have his
today.
Bible, his
I
wife's
know it,
Bible,
and he.
and
I feel like,
would love
of course,
to
I
sit
didn't
down there
know
and just
him
be able to read
personally,
that
but
and
I feel
compare
like
that
he
to
was
what we
such
actually have today.
a good God-fearing man. He would use his own fortune, and he was pretty wealthy in that time, and would use his own fortune. In fact, he began to spend some of his own money to send supplies to Boston before the Boston Tea Party, and even personally threw 2 chests of tea into the York River.
He, before I started researching him, I did not realize that there was a Yorktown Tea Party as well as a Boston Tea Party.
I know, I didn't know that either.
And so for me, when I sit there and look at this, I mean, this guy just didn't walk the walk or talk the talk. He walked the walk. And to be an active brigadier general in the Virginia militia while also serving as the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. I mean, he was wearing a lot of hats and spinning a lot of plates.
Yeah, so he was, and I don't know, you may have talked about this. He was in the House of Delegates in 1776, and so as a delegate, he presented a resolution that our delegates in Congress be enjoined in the strongest and most positive manner to exert their ability in procuring an immediate, clear, and full declaration of independence. So that was his resolution.
Yep, and it's amazing because we don't ever talk about that. We just talk about who authored the Declaration of Independence, and we kind of get it really a watered down version in our public school education system.
Right. I mean, I've never heard of him, and so it was so cool to find out that I'm a direct descendant of this man. And actually, I was in Philadelphia for one of our Moms for Liberty National Summits, and we had Timothy Barton there, David Barton's son. Oh, he's amazing. And so, they are historians. They have all these facts, and they've studied the Constitution. They teach the Constitution. But I told him that he was I'm a direct descendant of Thomas Nelson Jr. And it was so cool because he has some of the letters written back and forth between him and George Washington. He said they were really great friends. They would encourage each other and pray for each other and lift each other up. And so to have someone who's seen those actual letters and be able to tell me about it's just amazing.
The Bartons have a school in Texas that you can go to if you ever done if you have not done the class Biblical Citizenship. You really should, even if you're not spiritual, if you're not, because it'll show you. They will actually show you not only the biblical side, but they'll tell you the real history, the real struggles, the pain that these men went through, the suffering that they put their families through because they believed in something bigger than just themselves or their families.
And what our country was actually founded on.
Exactly.
There's so many arguments about that, but in those classes show you.
Yep. And it's one of those things where if we don't go back and we don't start talking about this stuff more and more, and you don't have these talks around the quote unquote kitchen table, it's going to be lost. And that's when we lose our culture. We lose
everything,
sense of identity as a nation. And that's why we have Founding Father Fridays here on the Andrew Gosser Show.
I love that. When I heard you were going to be doing that, I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's what people need to hear.
And when you said that, I was just like, it was interesting because I was going to do Thomas Nelson Jr. next anyways, because I wanted to have a little bit more of the military.
Were you really?
And then you texted me and I'm like, okay, this is divinity. Yep, this is all lined up. But we got to take a commercial break. And when we get back, we'll have Lindsay on for the last two segments of the show. And then she'll slide into the commander's chair here at WYAB.com. You are listening to Andrew Gosser and Lindsay Beckham on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
I didn't know you were planning on doing him next anyway. That's so crazy.
This ad is for all the guys who work hard and they expect their truck to do the same. At RPT Commercial, we have the accessories to help you on the job site. From names like Bedrock flatbeds, WeatherGuard toolboxes, Nephi service bodies, ARE camper tops, deck storage solutions, and so much more. Stop by our new store on Highway 80 in Pearl and check with our expert staff and see what they can do to make the job just a little bit easier on you. At RPT
where it's actually
Commercial,
him talking and telling about himself. I don't know if you saw that.
Even with interest rates higher than recent norms, real estate values are still holding strong in Mississippi. We caught up again with one of Mississippi's top real estate agents, Shane Saxton, to explain his recent activity in the market.
In the last year or so, it's been the best of my career. Interest rates have been high, but the real estate market is here to stay. Land values especially are continuing to rise. Home values are holding. If you need help with anything in real estate, just give me a call.
Find Shane Saxton on Facebook or give him a call at 601-540-5040. Offer property 601-7414.
What are people liking to hear? There are people want to talk about Ashley Babbitt.
CBS News Brief.
We are a safe city. ICE is making us less so.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry pushing back on federal claims that his city is not safe and demanding a role in the investigation into the fatal shooting of a woman by an ICE agent. There have been protests in Portland, Oregon after the shooting of 2 people by federal agents.
Officials say while there are still a lot of questions surrounding the incident, they're asking the community to remain calm after many residents took to the streets overnight in protest.
CBS's Gwen Baumgardner says officials say it happened as agents targeted alleged members of a gang. The government says 50,000 jobs were created in December. Economist Constance Hunter.
We have a lot of uncertainty with regard to the geopolitical landscape.
with regard to the economic landscape in so much as tariffs. And so that uncertainty usually causes firms to slow down.
CBS News Brief. I'm Steve.
You had an accident. Now you're hearing aftermarket parts, insurance company preferred, and a lot of other noise that serves to confuse you. Call Clinton Body Shop. We'll keep it simple. We are certified by 19 vehicle makers to assure you get a proper repair. We care about your investment and your safety. Call the shop who only wants one partner in the repair process, and that's you, the owner. In Clinton and in Richland, we work for you. We take pride in perfection.
Greetings. I'm Dr. Benny Tate, president of the Congregational Methodist Church denomination in Florence, Mississippi, and the pastor of Rock Springs Church in Milner, Georgia, inviting you to attend one of our services this week. Find a church near you at cm-church.org and be sure and listen every Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. for our weekly program, Apples of Gold from Rock Springs Church, here on 103.9 WYAB.
Hey, this is John with MES. That's Mississippi Energy Services. We sell, service, and install all makes and models of home and business generators. One thing that we do different than a lot of other companies is we do all the work ourselves. We don't use subcontract. The design to the final product. That way we can control the quality of the job from the beginning to the end. We are online at msenergy.us.
Vans Comics, Cards, and Games is your local sports cards and memorabilia store, plus Pokemon, board games, comics, and more. Get in the game, make history, and own it at Vans Comics, Cards, and Games, Pear Orchard Road in Ridgeland, and at vansccg.com. Better ingredients, better pizza with a better website. Papa John's and papajohns.com team up for the best experience. Save more with Papa Rewards and all the best deals. Order today and enjoy the new specials and Papa's pairings at papajohns.com and at locations throughout the metro.
And you are back here on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. I am here with Lindsey Beckham, the host of the Lindsey Beckham Show that's coming on next. We're kind of doing the dual hour here, power hour. And we were kind of talking during the break about what's going on in Minnesota and Minneapolis.
It's a scary time. It is a scary time. I was talking yesterday on my show about where you find so much corruption and crime and sin, you're going to find death and destruction.
And we're all upset right now with the child care fraud, the health fraud. But we're not talking about all the child exploitation, the sex trafficking, the murders, the rapes, the extortion. All the child people are almost immune to that right there, and that's what really happens in those communities.
And their government defends it.
People are governors defending it. You know, and that's yesterday. I happens in those communities. Heard that mayor just absolutely their governors defending it go off, and I want to play that clip again because. For those of you who haven't heard it, this is the mayor of Minneapolis. Go off, and I want to play that clip again because absolutely shocking. For those of you who haven't heard it, this
and
is
I have a message for ICE.
And
to ICE,
it's just absolutely
get the fuck out of Minneapolis. And I have a message. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create some kind of safety, and you are doing exactly the opposite. People are being hurt. Families are being ripped apart. Long-term Minneapolis residents that have contributed so greatly to our city, to our culture, to our economy are being terrorized, and now somebody is dead.
Are you talking about the lady that ICE shot who was trying to assault the ICE officer? Or are you talking about all the Somalis who are trafficking their kids in and out of those neighborhoods?
Right. Can you believe, Andrew? Can you believe a mayor of a city spoke like that on national TV?
Out of those neighborhoods. You know,
can you believe,
we have to be truthful. We've degraded so much as a society
on national TV,
and we do not sit there and watch our own filters. I mean, we got to be truthful about this, right? I always say on the Andrew Gosser Show, I'm going to keep it 100. When Trump and basically said that
we got to be truthful about this, right?
Iran and Israel didn't know what the F they were doing. That was kind of like the first F-bomb at the kitchen table. You get once, you get the dramatic effect, it works, but now you lowered that bar a little bit.
But now you're saying to law enforcement who is trying to bring law and order, get the F out of our city. You don't want them there. What are you going to do when somebody breaks in your house?
I don't know, but you want to take a phone call?
Sure.
Let's do it.
You don't want them there. What are you going to do when somebody...
Go ahead. You're on the Andrew Gosser Show.
I don't know. But
how you doing, Andrew?
Sure.
Brother Richard, I'm doing great.
Man, look at here. I get a 2-for-1 today. You got the Lincoln sitting there next to you.
She's right across the way, smiling away.
How about that? I wanted to kind of reflect on something you were talking about. When these individuals start dropping the F-bombs and they can't control themselves when they're trying to make a point, I kind of discount them, much like what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Lindsay, but I have also to discount individuals when whatever they're talking about, they start to cry. And I'm sorry, Lindsay, but and sometimes I go, okay, come on now, because I'm gonna tell you what, I was not the most handsome individual in high school, but if I could cry, I could get any girl to go out with me. It was like, oh, he's so sensitive, and I'm like, yeah, you just don't know. I'm just turning the waterworks on because I want to get my way, and people are doing that in the media also. But and switching gears, the thing about the situation with this lady getting killed, they used to have, for those of us that are old enough to remember, a special on Paul Harvey called The Rest
of the Story.
Yep.
And they are not telling. This is their new George Floyd moment. And they're going to milk the cow as hard as they can and drown out the truth as much as they can. Brother, y'all have a good weekend. I got to go.
You too.
Good to hear from you.
Richard's awesome. But this is what I would say to Brother Richard, and I'd like your opinion on this.
Y'all have a good weekend. I got to go.
You too.
American people have already seen this song and dance
Richard's
once.
awesome.
Yeah.
But this is what I would say to Brother Richard.
The
I'd like
way
your
that
opinion
it
on
is
this.
now being attacked, have you been
American
following Nick
people have already
Sordor
seen this
on
song
X
and
at
dance
all?
once.
I haven't.
I'll tell you
And
what, you got to follow him.
the
He went
way
into the
that
lion's
it
den
is
and
now
actually
being
called
attacked,
911.
Have you been following
And
Nick
they actually
Sordor
asked him
on
if he
X
was
at all?
white.
I haven't.
And then they
Are
hung
you
up on him.
serious?
Yeah,
He
it's
went
right
into
there
the
on X.
lion's den and
I
actually
think I
called
even have it on my
911.
timeline.
And
Wow.
they asked him if he was white. And then they
People
hung
see
up
this
on him.
who
Yes,
are
it's
completely
right there on
detached,
X.
whether you're
I
a
think I
left
even have it
winger,
on my
a right
timeline.
winger,
It's
more like the middle of the
so
roaders, like you and me.
people
You
see
know,
this. Who are
we all
completely
look at this and
detached, whether
say,
you're a left
that's
winger,
not right.
a right winger,
You
more
know,
of
if
like the
someone
middle of
calls
the roaders, like you and
911,
me,
there's
It shouldn't matter what
doesn't
color they
look at
are.
this
It doesn't
and
matter
say,
what color you
"That's
are. It doesn't
not
matter
right."
your political
You know, if
affiliation.
someone calls
You're
911,
using an American-based,
It shouldn't matter what color they are.
taxpayer-funded
it doesn't
system,
matter what color you are.
and
It doesn't
you're
matter your
supposed to be
political
getting the
affiliation.
maximum usage
You're
out of that.
using
Yeah.
an American,
You know, this makes Flava Flav and Public Enemy and 911 a joke in your town. It's a joke right now in Minneapolis,
Yeah.
Minnesota.
You know, this makes
Yeah, and
Flava
I
Flav
feel
and
like,
Public
Andrew, we
Enemy
got taken for a fool once
911
already.
a joke
Yep.
in your town.
You know,
It's a joke
they
right now
had
in Minneapolis,
many
Minnesota.
of us believing this narrative that with George Floyd that was so completely false in the long run. And look at the chaos that it caused, the fallout from it months and years later.
Years.
In the long
And
run.
the worst part
And
about
look
it
at the
is
chaos
I was talking about the
that it
different
caused,
spokes
the
of how
fallout
America's
from
being
it
attacked.
months
America
and
can't be
years
attacked
later.
militarily.
Years.
It
The
has to
worst
be
part about it
organic
is
inside.
I was talking
Like
about the
we're
different
splitting up
spokes
right
of
now,
how
red
America's
state, blue
being
state,
attacked. America
left wing,
can't
right
be
wing.
attacked militarily.
But the outside
it
actors,
has to be
China,
organic
Iran,
inside,
Russia,
like we're
whoever
splitting
you
up
want
right
to
now,
talk
red state,
about,
blue state.
they're
left wing,
using
right wing.
proxies to
And-
go ahead
but
and
the
influence
outside actors,
America,
China,
whether that be the
Iran,
fentanyl
Russia,
trade,
whoever you
whether
wanna
that be
talk
the
about,
United Nations
they're
importing
using
all these.
proxies to go
I
ahead and
played the clip earlier.
influence
I don't know if you
America,
heard it, but
whether that be the fentanyl
the United
trade,
Nations
whether
is
that
actually
be the United
funneling in
Nations importing
Somalis
all
in
these
through the refugee program
played the
through the
clip
United
earlier.
Nations,
I
and
don't
they're
know if you heard it, but
purposely putting them
the
in these
United
hot
Nations
spots.
is
They're
actually
looking for
funneling in Somalis
swing
into the
districts
refugee
where they can
program
go
through
ahead
the
and
United
put in
Nations, and they're
a block of
purposely
voters,
putting
and
them
then
in
now
these
all of a
hot
sudden that
spots.
swing district
They're
is no
looking
longer a
for
swing district.
Right, that
swing
one block is
districts
going to
where they
change
can
it.
go ahead and put in
Absolutely.
a block of
You know,
voters, and
there are
now all of a sudden that swing
when you
district
sit there
is
and
no
you do
longer
the
a swing
research on
district.
this,
Right,
ladies and
that one
gentlemen,
block is going to change
and
it.
you see
Absolutely.
these
And
kids who
you
were
know,
born
there
in
are
America
when you
to
sit there and you do the
immigrants, but
research
have
on
not
this,
been
ladies and
raised like
gentlemen,
Americans. They've been
and you
raised like
see
Somalis.
these
They hate
kids
the country.
who were born in
And,
America.
I just got a new
immigrants,
computer,
but
and
have
I'm
not been
really
raised
happy
like
because now I can
Americans. They've
edit
been
out
raised
a lot
like
of this
Somalis.
stuff.
They hate
But
the country.
to see
And
how we are
I just
breeding
got a new
our
computer,
own
and I'm really happy
insurrection
because now I
force
can
inside
edit
the
out a
country.
lot of
The
this
schools
stuff.
are doing it.
Perhaps that's another
to
spoke
see
You know, the school, I mean, Americans who were born to Americans are being taught to hate America in some of our public schools across the country.
That's a lot of them.
A lot, yeah.
You know, right here in Mississippi. Don't think it's not happening.
Oh,
right
yeah.
here.
I always say, do not think it can't happen here, because everything that I talk about in the public schools, there's some form of it here.
Yep. And just because it's not as radicalized here in Mississippi as it is in Illinois or Minnesota, it doesn't mean that it's not going to get to that point.
Just because
it just
it's not
takes
as
a little bit longer because culturally, and everybody knows I'm not from Mississippi. I'm an Illinois refugee, but I love Mississippi. Our culture here is awesome.
And everybody knows I'm not
so much more connected.
I'm an Illinois refugee.
And despite some of the bad stuff that happens in Jackson, people will go out of their way to help somebody. It's just what we do. Like we had the storm go through the last time. All of us were out there, even me, sitting there limping along on my tractor, helping out, clearing trees.
What we do.
Like we had the storm go through the last time. We don't wait for the government to do it. Whereas when you go to
sitting there limping along
places
on my
like
tractor,
Minneapolis, Minnesota, Chicago, the government is going to fix it. The government.
We don't wait for the government to do it.
Yeah, the scariest words to ever hear are what? I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
I need to get that Reagan clip so bad.
Yeah,
the scariest words.
That is really good.
That's one of the best quotes. One of the best quotes out there, and it's so true. And to this day, even more so probably today.
That is really
the biased reporting right now going on by NBC News.
And it's so true. And to this day,
we've
been screaming that from the rooftops for years.
Yeah, but the thing is now that it's happening in real time, and so many more of us who have
we've been screaming that from the rooftops for years
that people can actually see. But you should
the
actually
thing
go
now
and
that
look
it's happening
at
in real time, and so many more of us who
that
have platforms
NBC
and
is
voices
putting,
out
because
there
now they're
that
starting
people
to
can
put the
actually
Portland
see. You should actually
shootings
go
together.
and look.
Did you hear about the shootings in Portland?
That
I heard a little bit about it, but I haven't looked at it.
I went to go detain these two people, and they ended up getting shot because they were fleeing. And so everybody's
I heard a little bit about it, but I haven't
and
looked
they're
at it.
getting ready to start their own little crazy protest.
And
they were
ended up getting
Tren de
shot
la
'cause they were
Agua
fleeing. And so
gang
everybody's
members.
all
in Portland,
getting ready to start their own
doing
crazy protest.
Trafficking drugs.
They were Tren de la
and other
gang members.
Crime.
So that's what we call community improvement killings, right there.
Yeah. Well, they didn't die. They're both in the hospital, but
crimes.
So that's
they
what we
have
call community
people,
improvement killings, right there.
Yeah. Well,
just
they
sitting
didn't
there
die.
calling
They're
it
both in the hospital.
a propaganda machine, and Minneapolis mayor going off and talking about the problems in Minneapolis, talking about the problems in Portland. And NBC is feeding in this in. And here's the thing,
mayor going off,
Gen Z and younger millennials, they're not going to see this hot garbage.
NBC is
but
feeding
the
in
boomers
and
and the
thing.
Xers and the
You know,
older
Gen Z
millennials, they're all
and
plugged
younger
into this, and they're
millennials,
seeing
they're
this.
not going to see this.
Being made to believe that our law enforcement are the bad
boomers
guys
and the
for
Xers
enforcing
and
the law.
And I don't know if you had a chance to hear our vice
Being
president
made
just
to
go off
believe
in
that
the
our
press
law
room.
enforcement I heard parts of it.
I think I've got a quote or two of them. And
I don't know if you had a chance to hear our vice president just go off in the
give
press room.
I heard
President
parts of
J.D.
it.
Vance
I think
a
I've got
little bit of
quote or two
airtime
of them,
because
and I just want
we're going to need him moving forward.
give,
This is a 40-second clip
Vice President J.D.
talking
Vance
about how
a little bit of airtime because
the shooter in
we're
Minneapolis
going to
has
need
absolute
him moving
immunity.
forward. This is a 40-second clip.
The precedent here is
talking
very
about
simple.
how,
You have a federal law enforcement official
the shooter
engaging in federal
Minneapolis
law
has
enforcement
absolute
action.
immunity.
That's a federal issue. That guy's protected by
The precedent
absolute
here is
immunity.
very simple.
He was
You have a
doing
federal
his
law
job.
enforcement
The
official
idea that
engaging
Tim
in federal
Walz
law
and a bunch of
enforcement action,
radicals in
that's a federal
Minneapolis
issue.
are going to
That
go
guy's
after and make
protected
this
by
guy's
absolute
life
immunity.
miserable
He was
because
doing
he
his
was
job.
doing the
The
job
idea
that he was
Tim
asked
Walz
to
and
do
a bunch of
is
radicals in
preposterous.
Minneapolis
The
are gonna go after
unprecedented
and
thing
make this
is the
guy's life
idea
miserable
that a local
because he was
official
doing the
can
job
actually
that he was
prosecute a
asked to
federal
do
official with
is
absolute
preposterous.
immunity.
The
I've never seen anything
unprecedented
like
thing
that.
is the
It gets
idea
tossed out by a
that a local
judge. So
official
what I'd like
can
Minnesota to
actually
focus on is the
prosecute
real
a federal
issue
official
that
with
they're
absolute
encouraging
immunity.
people.
I've never seen anything
Minneapolis
like that.
officials
It
are
would get tossed
encouraging
out by a
people
judge.
to commit
So what I'd
violence
like
against
Minnesota
ICE
to
officials.
focus on is the real issue
And-
that they're
and
encouraging people.
There you have it. I mean,
Minneapolis officials
JD
are
can't say it any
encouraging
more
people
crazy.
to commit violence against
You know,
ICE officials.
local government is the closest to the
and
people. It's like
there you
where
have
you
it.
want
I
to
mean,
be practicing
JD can't say it any
politics.
more crazy.
But you also have to
You know,
understand
local
the
government
scope
is
of your
closest to
power.
the people.
It's like
It's
Zorhan
like where you wanna
Mandami getting
be
a call or
practicing
calling the
politics.
president of the United States to
you also have
express
to
his
understand
displeasure
the scope
about
of
going
your
and
power.
getting
It's like
Maduro out of
Zorhan
Venezuela.
Mandami
What
getting
the
a
heck
call
is that
or
about?
calling the
What
president of the
does
United
mayor of New
States
York
to
have
express
to do with
his
any of that?
displeasure about
He
going
doesn't.
and
He
getting
shouldn't. And
Maduro out
that's
of
one thing that
Venezuela.
I keep
What the heck is that
preaching about is
What does the mayor
all
of New
these New
York
Yorkers
have
went
to
out
do
and
with any of
voted
that?
for him. Yet
He doesn't.
all
He
the things he
shouldn't.
promised them,
And
he doesn't have the power to do. That's not all these New Yorkers the mayor does. Some of the things he can do legally.
And again, that's the education spoke where they don't teach local civics in the schools anymore. And then all of a sudden they're like, I'm supposed to go out and vote. And everybody wants the free candy. Everybody wants the free meals. But there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's no such thing as free candy. We're going to take our last commercial break here at the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. You are listening to Andrew Gosser and Lindsey Beckham. We'll be right back.
Our last commercial break here at the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. You are listening to Andrew Gosser and Lindsey Beckham. We'll be right back.
103.9 WYAB.
Delicious food and a relaxing atmosphere combine to make the best place for sports fans and foodie fans to watch the game and just hang out. Capitol Grill of Jackson. Of course they've got the games, but food, oh my goodness. Mouth-watering po' boys, fish, steaks, appetizers, and a specialty pizza menu. Kitchen opens at 5 Monday through Thursday and 11 Friday through Sunday. And happy hours are daily at Capitol Grill. Also enjoy the all-new Tuesday night and karaoke on Wednesday and Friday nights from 8 till midnight with DJ Money Mod. Capitol Grill, DeVille Plaza in Jackson.
The IMAX at Malco Grandview Cinema offers moviegoers a truly immersive cinematic experience, a way to enjoy movies like never before. You're not just watching, you're a part of the action with IMAX technology at Malco Grandview Cinema in Madison. And now, relax and recline in luxury at Malco. The magic of the movies is even better with reclining seats at Malco Grandview Cinema in Madison and Renaissance Cinema Grill in Ridgeland. For more information and tickets, visit malco.com. We'll see you at the movies.
Smart business owners will tell you the best time to start a new business is now. Whether you're thinking of starting a new business or expanding an existing one, the perfect location is the Cotton Exchange Plaza in Flora. Over 13,000 cars will pass by your business each and every day on Highway 49. Space is available now, so what are you waiting for? Call the Cotton Exchange Plaza at 601-879-3503 to find out how you can expand your business today. The Cotton Exchange Plaza in Flora, where we mean business.
I'm speaking with Lee Bounds of Rapid Rate Mortgage. How does real estate agent Rita Jensen succeed when time is of the essence?
In today's market, it is so important to communicate and close on time. Typically have 30 days to close, get a home inspection, appraisal, title work, that kind of thing is a mortgage process. And a realtor relationship is so important. With a realtor like Rita Jensen with Remax Connection, she helps us to close on time.
RitaJensen.net.
When it comes to protecting what matters most, experience counts. And the Rusty Healy Agency has been serving Madison and the rest of the Jackson Metro for over 35 years. Local agent Landon Thompson is keeping that trusted tradition going strong. As a local independent agent, he's not locked into one provider. The Rusty Healy Agency can shop the top insurance companies to find the best fit for you. And everyone knows that the Rusty Healy Agency and Landon Thompson offer top quality local customer service. Contact Landon today at 601-856-3681.
For over 15 years, A1 Gear and Auto has been your hometown specialist for your auto repair and maintenance needs. From brake repair to placement to radiators, engines, starters, alternators, heat, and AC water pumps, and more, A1 will get your vehicle back up and running and on the road and in a timely manner. A1 is one of the only shops in the metro that specializes in rear differentials, rear ends, and rings and pinions. Call today to set up an appointment, or if you got questions, at 601-939-1060. A1 Gear and Auto, your hometown vehicle specialist.
Are you looking for a church family to connect with? One that will provide opportunities to grow in your spiritual life, as well as a chance to serve others? First Baptist Flora may be just the place for you. We're located at 102 Jackson Street in Flora. To worship with us in person, we have a traditional worship service that begins Sunday mornings at 8:30. Then our life groups meet at 9:45, and the Refuge Contemporary service begins at 11 a.m. We also have a midweek service every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. So come join us at First Baptist Flora, where we're making much of Jesus.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
Oh, yeah. Final segment of the Andrew Gosser Show for the week. It's the weekend. I hope you have some good plans. What do you got going on this weekend? Anything?
Final
I don't
segment
know.
of the
I don't
Andrew
have
Gosser show
have
for
any
the
plans.
week.
My
It's the
14-year-old
weekend.
is
I hope you
super
have,
upset
some good
because she's
plans.
supposed to
What
have
do you
her
got going on
8th
this
grade
weekend?
dance tonight, and all of that got canceled
Yep,
when they
yep.
dismissed school early. So I think they may try to do it tomorrow night. So be getting ready for that.
Yep. Tomorrow night is Beauty and Bow night for my daughter.
Aw.
Yep.
I think
And
they may try to do it tomorrow
it's
night.
funny because
Be getting ready
we go
for that.
Beauty and Bow
Yep,
shopping, and
tomorrow
I'm like,
night
no,
is
no,
Beauty
no.
and Bow night for my
Yep.
daughter.
Yep. That's good.
Yep.
Yep.
That one's
And,
conservative enough.
Yeah.
It's funny
And
because
but
we go Beauty and
it's
Bow
really
shopping,
fun.
and I'm like, no,
That Beauty and Bow pageant has done so
Yep,
much
yep,
for
that's good.
Toots
Yeah.
and her self-confidence
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
poise and everything.
But
I
You
think
know,
it's
I was a
really
pageant
funny.
girl, so
That
it
Beauty
was
and
right
Bow
up my
pageant has
alley.
done
I
so much
did not
for
know that. I
Toots.
did not know that.
Many, 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 many years ago.
Yeah, I never did the bow part of it, but it is definitely something that we encourage her to do. And anytime you can get kids out there doing stuff, getting them out of their comfort zone, developing their character, developing their poise, their confidence to go out
Yeah.
and do new things. Doesn't mean that she's gonna be like Miss America or anything like that, but it's giving her that confidence. And our young girls, they definitely need that.
They do. They most definitely need that in the world. They live in a completely different world today than we did.
Could you imagine if we would have had these things when we were growing up? Oh my
No,
God.
I'm so glad that we didn't.
I am the exact same way. I am so glad that I did not have one of these anxiety devices because I would just no, it's not good.
And they can't get away from it. They can never get away from the bullying and the feeling less than, or it's
They have problems sleeping if they're not scrolling, and
Uh-huh.
it's reprogram. And I'm using this word reprogramming, but and people don't like it, but it's true. It's literally programming your brain for that constant dopamine swipe,
Mhm.
and it's just not good. And people like us, we're Gen Xers, and we're sitting there thinking, we can put it down. It's not a big deal to us, but just for people who are born 10 years younger than us,
attached to you.
I'll tell you what, when I was a highway commissioner, I took my phone, and the guys will talk about this. And I just chucked it. I was just like, I've had enough. But you know what else our girls need? They need a little Proverbs 31. And I always have the Sweet Bee appreciation segment. And this is the Sweet Bee appreciation segment. And I'm sure you have many of these same things. And she says, she dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. She's always working. My Sweet Bee, she's always on the move. She's
She
always
sure is.
doing something from 4:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. And she's just always moving. And she is literally right now doing so much for our household because, I just can't go out and move the sheep anymore. Not only my Sweet Bee, but also my Sweet Toots, my daughter. They're both out there. We're watching the sheep, moving the chickens, having a great time. And I just always want to make sure that it's okay, men, for you to tell your wife that she's a Proverbs 31 girl. And if you don't know what Proverbs 31 is, just Google it and read it. It'll make it better. And I'll tell you what, it's always sweeter when you tell your wife how much you love her, and then your wife comes back and tells you how much she loves you, and then great things happen, ladies and gentlemen. And we're just going to leave it at that. You have been listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll see you next week. Peace.